Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, That Model Railway Guy. As you can see, behind me is part of the modular model railway, which I'm currently working on for a brand new series of videos that I'm filming at the moment. That's going to follow the process of putting down, hopefully, all of the scenery on this main section of the layout. And while it's going to take me a while to film and edit everything, I just wanted to show you that there is progress being made, and this is going to be my main project for 2023. On a similar note, earlier this morning, Hornby made their 2023 announcements with all of the new products that they're planning to make this year, or rather over the next few years, since we all know what releases have been like lately. So I'm just going to take a quick break from modelling while I wait for something to dry, and I thought I'd go through all the new announcements. So I haven't seen anything yet. This will be my first time looking through it all, and just to say, I probably won't cover everything today, just the main things really, as I suspect I'll be here all day otherwise. Before I take a look, predictions. Generally, I think it's going to be a bit of a quieter year from Hornby this year. I mean, I think they'll still have lots to announce, but I don't think we're going to see loads of brand new locos this year. That's partly because, as I alluded to a moment ago, they still have quite a backlog of things to deliver from the last few years. Things like the 2MT, for example, that springs to mind. We've been waiting quite a while for the P2 and the Black 5. That was last year, I think, anyway. But yeah, they're still quite a way off, it sounds like. So I think Hornby will want to avoid announcing too much. Otherwise, they're just going to be constantly announcing things that aren't going to come out for several years, so yeah. Also, we've had a couple of big announcements from Hornby recently anyway. The brand new TT120 range, that was announced back in October, and then there was all the Flying Scotsman Centenary stuff. The centenary of the Flying Scotsman is this year, 2023, but they announced that they were doing a big range of Flying Scotsman models towards the end of 2022. And so, yeah, both that and the TT range have quite a few products that they're going to be wanting to deliver this year, and so obviously they can only make so much at a time, so I think realistically it might be a smaller announcement from Hornby this year. Especially as since Hornby Centenary back in 2020, I mean, we got quite a big range for that year, and then in 2021 and 22 we got some pretty big announcements too, so I think actually we've been quite spoiled in the last few years, and I think with all the TT stuff needing to get made, needing to get off the ground rather, yeah, it's reasonable to think that 00 gauge might take just a little bit of a step back this year. It's not going to be Hornby abandoning the scale by any means, I don't think, but I think, yeah, it just won't be a huge range like we've seen in the last few years. As for actual product predictions, I think we'll still see some new locos. It's been a while since they did a little industrial tank engine, a little industrial steam engine. The B2 Peckett was a few years ago now, so I'd love to see Hornby have a go at something else. I don't think they'd do another Peckett, but I don't know. Dapple are doing the Hawthorne and Leslie, so maybe a Manning Wardle from Hornby, that would be cool to see. They do seem to like their big express engines though. The last few years they've done quite a lot of LNER stuff, so maybe they'll do something a bit different this year, or perhaps they'll just keep doing LNER locos since it seems to work really well for them. But yeah, because they did the Hush Hush, that was a couple of years ago. Then they did, was it the Thompson A2s before that? I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it seems like we've got a lot of LNER stuff from them, so yeah, I don't know, maybe they'll keep doing more of it, or maybe they'll do something different. I don't really know, to be honest, but yeah. As far as diesel and electric goes, again, I don't really have a clue, to be honest. I don't really feel like I know enough about that area in general to be able to make any proper predictions there, so yeah, a bit clueless really, but I do think that they're going to want to continue on their Era 1 pioneering range, especially after everything that happened last year with the Titfield Thunderbolt and all that. But yeah, I'm not sure how they'll do that, as I don't think they're going to be ready to announce another loco just yet. The Lion loco has literally only just come out, so yeah. Maybe some new rolling stock packs just to remind everyone that that range exists, and that Hornby were the ones that really kicked the whole thing off with the Rocket pack a few years ago, so yeah. I do think we'll see something new for Hornby 00 too, although maybe not with the Flying Scotsman Centenary locos they're doing, because I think those are all supposed to be 00 locos, aren't they? Or maybe not, maybe I've got that completely wrong. But anyway, Hornby do like their limited editions, don't they? So yeah, maybe this year we'll see something from the GWR. I think they're the only ones who haven't had something in 00 yet. So yeah, that's where my guess would go at least. I definitely think though we will see stuff like more 9Fs. Actually, I think a Time Dock one would probably go down really well. But yeah, I really think that mostly this year it's going to have a lot of not reruns, but sort of locos that they've already done, but in new liveries or new variations or something like that. Yeah. Oh, actually, do you know what I think we will see? You know how last year Hornby updated their A1 and A3 tooling? So this year I think we might see something similar with the A4s. So yeah, that would be really cool to see, especially if they do it with the firebox flicker and the steam generator too. So yeah, I would definitely find a brand new A4 hard to resist if I'm honest. So fingers crossed. Right, that is enough predictions, I think. I could sit here all day and speculate, but now it's actually time to take a look. So I'll go grab my trusty iPad and get the website all loaded up so we can dive in and take a look together. Okay, so here we go. Got my iPad, Hornby 2023 announcements, and I'll put the stuff that I'm looking at on screen or in a little box up here somewhere. I don't know, I'll figure it out. But yeah, here we go. Hornby 2023 announcements, and okay, so right out of the gates, they're going to be doing a streamlined B17. Wow, that really is something. Yeah, Hornby have definitely been favouring the LNER, haven't they, the last few years, and so that's another big hitter. So another sort of odd prototype there. It looks like they're doing two models, East Anglian in apple green and then City of London in BR livery. So how many B17s actually got the streamlining? I don't think it was many. Was it only two? I guess it must have been those two. So yeah, that's really quite interesting. Another sort of small oddball loco from the LNER. Not small as in like size, but as in like, you know, like the Hush Hush, there was only one of those. The B17s, only a few of those got the streamlining. So yeah, but the B17s that Hornby did a few years ago seemed to be received really well, I think. I didn't actually get one of them myself because I think they'd all sold out by the time I kind of got back into the hobby. But yeah, they were generally considered quite good models, I think. I wonder if they'll be able to reuse the chassis from that and it's just like a new body tooling to go over the top. They probably have gone over all this. I'm just looking very briefly at everything, otherwise I'll be here all day. But yeah, it does say that they're looking to get these out by the end of the year and that they're going to cost £209.99. So that's actually not too bad. I mean, yes, it's expensive, but I seem to remember a lot of the locos that were announced last year cost sort of like $250. So I don't know. Perhaps we're seeing prices start to stabilise just a little bit, even if they are still quite high. But yeah, they haven't gone up, is what I mean. Right, moving on. Another big loco they're talking about, LNER loco again. They're talking about the Flying Scotsman Centenary range again. So as far as I can see, this is all of the stuff that they'd already announced, unless there's anything new here. I don't think I can see anything new, but yeah, just to cover it quickly, essentially they're doing several 00 models of the Flying Scotsman from different periods throughout its service, from when it was an A1 right up to present day. So yeah, the 00 stuff is Hornby's special limited edition range, I guess, where all the loco bodies are made from die-cast metal, so it's a great one for the collectors. And yeah, I think it's reasonable that Hornby would want to do something for the centenary of the loco, considering that the Flying Scotsman has always been a really popular model for them anyway. But yeah, these are supposed to be out for April. Well, I suppose that makes sense, considering that it's to celebrate the centenary of the loco anyway. So yeah, obviously these are limited editions, as I just said, so there's only going to be 500 of each model being made, and the prices sort of reflect that, ranging from about £360 to £380. So yeah, definitely one for the collectors. Right, so a lot of LNER stuff so far, but now, something completely different. Yeah, they're going to do Tiger to go in their Era 1 pioneering range. So yeah, I did think they would want to do something to keep that going, but I didn't think it would be a new loco quite so soon after the release of Lion. It does look like Tiger is pretty much the same as Lion, though. Kind of makes sense considering the name, I guess. Tiger, Lion, Lion, Tiger. But yeah, so is it just a new nameplate? Or oh, no, it's got a new firebox and a different chimney. Oh, okay, yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert when it comes to these really old locos, or any locos, to be honest. So I'm not exactly quick on the draw when it comes to little differences like that. But yeah, that's nice to see. And it does seem, again, that it's only going to be available as part of a pack, which will have some wagons in it this time as opposed to coaches. I mean, in some ways, I do wish Hornby would stop doing these locos only in packs, because I was quite tempted by Lion last year when that came out, and I guess now by extension Tiger as well. It looked like a really good model, but I've already got loads of the coaches and the rolling stock to run with them, and so I just kind of wish they'd do the locos on their own, as well as the packs as well. But yeah, I suppose the wagons are a little bit different, so maybe I'll look at picking one of those up. I can kind of understand doing it as part of a pack with Rocket because it was such a small loco, but yeah, I feel like Lion and Tiger are a bit more substantial, so I would definitely buy it as a single loco. But as it is, I'll probably just end up getting the Rapido one because they are doing it as a loco on its own. So yeah, anyway, that's straying a little bit too close to all the Tipfield Thunderbolt territory, so let's move on before we get bogged down by that. Okay, so more 00 limited edition releases, and it looks like they're doing all of the preserved A4s. Okay, so this is the Great Gathering pack again, but this time it's as a 00 limited edition. So yeah, they're only going to be selling them as a pack, oh no, they are doing them individually. So yeah, this is again a really good year if you like your LNER models. I can understand why Hornby are doing this because the Great Gathering locos still seem to go for ridiculous prices online secondhand, so on like eBay and stuff. So yeah, clearly there's a demand for it, and it has been 10 years now since the Great Gathering. So yeah, I actually got to go to the NRM and see all the A4s. Hopefully if I can find one, I'll put a picture in here now of a much younger version of me standing next to some A4s at the NRM. But yeah, I have to admit, I have been wanting to get an A4 for a while because the only one I have is the Live Steam Mallard. And of course I can't run that with my other locos, so yeah, I could be tempted by one of these, possibly. They look like they're due to come out this summer, and they're again limited editions of 500 again. And they're going to be £320.99, so not as much as the Flying Scotsman ones, but yeah, still up there. They're definitely collector's items, these things, aren't they? Yeah. Okay, so moving on. This year is also 100 years since the majority of the railway companies were formed into the Big Four, so the LNER, LMS, Southern Railway and GWR. And it looks like Hornby is also going to be marking that by doing a limited edition model of a loco from each group. Okay, so what do we got here? So from the LNER, we're getting the A1 Hermit in lined apple green. And then for the LMS, they're doing a Fowler 4P in lined crimson lake. The Southern region is then getting a new King Arthur in the olive green livery. And then finally, the Great Western Railway is getting Caldegot Castle in GWR lined green. And each of those is going to cost £208 by the look of it. So yeah, a nice little way to mark 100 years since the beginning of the Big Four there. As I predicted, we are getting some new 9Fs as well. So yeah, I think that was a pretty safe prediction on my part. So yeah, there's 3 new ones here, and we're getting a Tyne Dock version as well. Are all of them Tyne Dock versions? No, actually it's not 3, it's just 2. But one has a sound-fitted version as well, so it looks like 3. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm going to race through these fairly quickly now because these are sort of the smaller announcements. Something that has just caught my eye though, quite literally, is that they're doing the J36 in British Railways lined apple green. Now that sounds fantastic. I've seen photos of the J36 in this livery and it does look stunning. So yeah, I imagine that's going to look really, really good. And the J36 was a really nice model already, so yeah, that's really cool. And then just a few more quick mentions as we've kind of come to the end of the Steam stuff. Hornby are doing another Triang Railways Remembered sort of vintage pack again, this time with the Caledonian single, so that looks really nice. I wonder if that has been prompted by all the interest around the Caledonian 812 from Bachmann and Rails of Sheffield last year. Yeah, I seem to remember when that model came out, it was a really good model, and there were a lot of people wondering if Hornby would reissue the sort of the older Caledonian single in that similar livery. So yeah, evidently they have gone for it. And then almost as a footnote here, it says that they're doing the L&Y Pug again too, but this time in a maroon livery, so that could be cool. I don't think we've ever seen it in anything other than black before, so yeah, that could be something a little bit different, which may tempt some people, so yeah. And obviously I haven't covered all of the Steam stuff here. I think I've just covered all of the major announcements there, but let's move on to diesels and electric now. And the big hitter here is another 00 limited edition. They're going to do a Deltic, specifically DP1 in the blue and cream livery. So that is quite an announcement. Taking on Akira Scale a bit there. Although I don't think Akira Scale actually did they do DP1? I don't think they did. So I guess with this being a 00 limited edition as well, it's probably aimed more at collectors rather than sort of modelers, which is, I feel like that's where Acura Scale were going with their release. But apparently though, this one from Hornby is going to have working fans and lots of lighting features as well, so that's definitely interesting. And similar to the A4, this is priced at £320.99. Predictably, Hornby are also doing more HSTs as well. Yeah, this was a bit of a no-brainer really. After they upgraded the HST tooling last year, it just makes sense that they want to make the most out of it really. So yeah, they're doing 3 sets of power cars, the plain LNER red livery, the Intercity blue and yellow livery, and then also the executive livery, which I think is sound-fitted as well. I think that's the sound-fitted one. Yeah. And then speaking of sound-fitted models, it looks like they're bringing the Class 08 back as well as a sound-fitted model. So yeah, I think a lot of people could definitely be tempted by that. And from what I remember, the Class 08 that Hornby did was considered a pretty good model. I don't know if that's necessarily the case by today's standards, but certainly at the time when it came out, it was considered pretty well detailed. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Right, moving on to wagons now. It looks like Hornby have quite a few new wagons to release this year. Starting off with the TT8 tank wagons. These actually seem to be pretty far along in the process and they're looking great already. So hopefully it won't be too long before we see those in shops. They're also doing the salmon bogie bolsters as well. I will admit, I kind of knew that Hornby were going to be doing this as they came to the railway where I volunteered to measure the one that we have. I didn't say anything about it though, even in my predictions, because I didn't know if it was going to be announced this year. But and technically, I don't think I was supposed to know either. But that they'd been to the railway. But yeah, it's out in the open now, so I don't have to keep it a secret anymore. They're also doing a Great Western bogie bolster wagon as well, which I definitely didn't know about. So yeah, 3 brand new wagons from Hornby this year. Kind of makes sense that this is where we're seeing a lot of releases, as presumably wagons are a lot quicker to design, tool up and make, with them being a lot more simple than locos. So yeah, and in fact, all 3 of these are due to arrive before the end of the year. We do have a few new coaches as well. They're Era 1 coaches coming in. So these seem to be brand new toolings rather than just new liveries for the coaches that came with the Rocket Pack. So firstly, there is a second class coach, which looks really interesting, and then Queen Adelaide's coach too, which is definitely something a bit different. So if I'm remembering correctly, that's not from the Liverpool and Manchester Railway, that's from the Liverpool and Birmingham Railway? Have I got that wrong? Possibly. I get most things wrong, to be honest, but we'll see. Definitely interesting though. I do think it's also worth mentioning as well that the LNER coaches, yes, more LNER, but the LNER coaches seem to be making a return as well. So if you missed out on those in previous years, you've got another chance to get hold of them. And certainly I've been very happy with the ones that I've got. They're generally really good models, and I think that the teak decoration on them is really, really good. Right, now, sort of to finish up with something very different from Hornby, or I suppose not too different, but they're coming out with a new digital Bluetooth control system called the HM7000. So presumably this is a follow-on from the HM6000, which was an analog power system, but you could control it via an app on your phone. From the look of this, the HM7000 doesn't actually have a base station at all. Rather, you just put one of these little Bluetooth decoders into your loco, much like you would with a normal DCC decoder, and then the app can just link directly up to that. So that is really interesting. I don't think Bluetooth control in itself is anything brand new. I think over in the States they have something called Blu-rail, which is basically the same thing as far as I know, but I don't know a huge amount about it, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, Hornby are doing a range of these decoders, so a 6-pin, an 8-pin, next 18, and also a 21-pin. Oh, and all of these have sound versions as well, as apart from the 6-pin. So but the other 3 are going to give you TXS. So what's TXS? Oh, I see. Triple X sound. So presumably instead of TTS, which was twin track sound, this is now 3 sounds at the same time. So that's cool, a bit of an upgrade there. And so these sound decoders will initially be blank, okay, but then there are different sound projects that, oh I see. So they'll be blank initially, but there are different sound projects that you can download to the decoder. So that's cool. And the sound decoders also come with a cube speaker, yeah, obviously with it being a sound decoder, and then parts to build a different sized enclosure for it. So yeah, depending on how much space you've got inside your loco, I guess you can make the enclosure bigger or smaller. Yeah, so it actually kind of looks like they've really thought this through. And of course you can just get these decoders without sound as well, presumably. So yeah, there's quite a range there. So there'll be 8 different decoders in total. No, because they're not doing a 6-pin sound decoder, so 7 different decoders with this Bluetooth kind of control thing. So yeah. Oh, okay, and it does say that these Bluetooth decoders will work on existing DCC layouts, which, yeah, I think that's kind of important because not everyone is going to want to go all out on these Bluetooth control systems straight away, are they? But if you can still run it on a DCC powered layout, you kind of get the best of both worlds there in a way. You can kind of dip your toe into the water and see what it's all about before committing to it long term. But yeah. Oh, and it also works on analog layouts too, just presumably as long as the power is provided to the track. So yeah, a bit of a surprise announcement from Hornby there with this. But it does seem like they're trying something a bit different here. Like I said, Bluetooth control isn't anything completely brand new, but I think this is, as far as I know, it's the first time a UK manufacturer has really seriously taken it on. So yeah, this could be the beginning of something. A bit like TT, it could be the beginning of something big, or it may be in a few years' time that none of us actually care about it anymore. But it could be the next big evolution of DCC. I don't know, but it'll certainly be interesting to find out. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I think I've covered. I mean, like I said, I've really just sort of been going over the big things. If you want to have a look at everything on Hornby's website, then yeah, feel free to browse that yourself. But I think I've covered sort of most of the big things here. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Like I suspected, there wasn't a huge amount of brand new locos announced, although there's still been plenty to get my teeth into, given that I feel like I've been talking for quite a while. Yeah, a lot of new locos for the 00 range though. I think that's the thing that has stood out to me most, and obviously the Streamline B17-2 and Tiger, the 00 Deltic, and that new Hornby 7000, the HM 7000 system that I was talking about just a moment ago as well. And so yeah, hopefully Hornby can deliver most of this stuff in the next 12 months. I guess we'll see this time next year whether that's the case, and of course there's loads of stuff to come from last year's announcements which are due for release this year too, hopefully as well. So yeah. That said, Hornby aren't the only manufacturer anymore either. We are in a wonderful position in the hobby where we don't just have to rely on Hornby and Bachmann as the big players, but there's also Curascale, Rapido, Dapple, even retailers like Rails of Sheffield and the Model Centre and Hatton's commissioning their own models now. So yeah, even if there wasn't anything for you in this particular set of announcements, there may well be something else along later in the year. So yeah, and again, like I said, obviously I haven't covered absolutely everything today, otherwise it would have been like 3 hours long and nobody wants that. So do head over to the Hornby website and check out everything for yourself if you're interested in the stuff that I have made sort of glossed over a little bit. And I think Hornby have put out their own video earlier on today as well, which covers everything presumably. So yeah, I haven't actually watched that yet, but that is going to be it for this look at the Hornby 2023 range. So I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel and give the video a like as well. For now though, I'm going to get back to work on my layout, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!